Okay, folks, 7 o'clock. That's what you've all been waiting for. Obviously, so welcome. Quite a busy meeting tonight, so we'll keep it rolling. We have got a celebrity appearance by Susan Greenwood later on in the meeting, and nobody else that we're expecting this evening. Obviously, no members of the public here at the moment. Public bodies. It's recording. Sorry, we will be recording the meeting. We are recording the meeting. Does anybody else want to individually record the meeting? No, thank you. Apologies for and reasons for absence.
These have been emailed out to everyone. So you're looking at Councillor Ryder and Councillor Stewart.
Okay, so we thank you. No further requests in terms of dispensation or anything like that, other than what we previously knew. Receiving any updated disclosable personal and pecuniary interests, including any clothing, any sponsorships you've had, any spectacles. We should go around. Football stadium seats.
I don't know if it's relevant, but I have put Christmas lights up in Holland and put stalls up for the Christmas market, but I'm not directly involved.
Were you given a cake by one?
No, I wasn't given anything, not even a free burger.
Right. Why had Coffee usually give the volunteers?
Yeah, I'm a trustee of the Civic Hall.
I'm a trustee of Holly Library, that's coming up.
Well, they're both coming up, but we will continue the previous sort of policy.
Yes, as we've already established, you're representing Home Valley Parish Council in those trusteeships. So,
Personal.
Therefore,
the
it's
committee would
for
want
us
you
to
to
leave
speak.
while the discussion happens.
We've got. Sorry, I should have also said that we don't have any new declarations or anything like that.
No.
Okay, thank you. Moving on. Any items on the agenda to be discussed in private session? I'm guessing item 39. That should be in private session or not?
Yes, definitely 39
Which is that?
due to commercial sensitivities regarding the tendering process, latest updates.
Okay.
And obviously any resolutions or actions will still feature in the minutes. And the documentation regarding that was sent out under separate cover, but once it is finalised, it will be made public. I would also just say that the committee may wish to hear 242536 regarding the civic in private session due to the distribution beforehand of a confidential report. If there is a wish to discuss that, then I would advise that it should be heard in private session due to commercial sensitivity. Perhaps rather than decide now, you might want to bear that in mind when the item comes up, and if anyone does want to, or if it comes up, the report that you've received, then you can choose at that moment to go into private session.
Okay. Thanks, that's helpful. On to the next item, minutes of the last service provision committee meeting. You've had the minutes, I wasn't here, so I can't say whether they are considered accurate or not. They're kindly shared. Yeah? Everyone happy with that?
Yeah.
Any matters arising from that won't be picked up already in the agenda?
There are some matters arising from the last minutes which are still unresolved, that I'd like to draw the committee's attention to. First of all, regarding the sharp spin outside Homefest toilets, I need to have fresh contact with Kirklees councillors for Home Valley South regarding that. And I still need to contact Homefest Forward to gauge interest in CCTV for Homefest Centre.
Right.
Any other matter arising is dealt with in the agenda.
Homefest Forward have got a meeting coming up very soon. Next week or two, I think.
Right, so do that now.
Okay, this sharp spin, it's a Pain in the what's in.
That has been going on as long as I've been a councillor for about 6 years, and that, I think, has been on the agenda for practically all of that time, hasn't it, Mary?
I think so, yes.
So just to remind us, the issue basically is because of the likely contents of it, it would have to be removed by a specialist.
Yes.
You can't just get a crowbar to it. And,
No, and it's Kirklees council property, not our property as well.
I think a while ago, I remember being at a meeting where I kind of suggested that we should leave it there because there was some incidences that it was being used. So rather than the material be left somewhere else, I thought it'd be better that they actually being there, even though unsightly as it is.
and full as it is as well.
I think other people are putting other stuff in there as well.
Yeah.
But I would rather have it there than something bad happened with like a needle or something like that.
Mm.
It's opinion, isn't it? Really? Like it doesn't look very nice, and it's not really for a tourist town to have something like that there. But it's just sometimes it's needed.
It's a pity we can't have
Sorry.
a smaller bin where you could only get things like needles in, which couldn't get filled up with junk. So,
I think perhaps we'll talk about whether we can just get this resolved one way or another, you know, and taking on board your comments.
yeah, I think Tom's made one point.
There's arguments either way. I totally get why people think it shouldn't be there, but I think there's reasons why it's there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was jam last time I looked. It was jam full of, as you say, probably of different rubbish. But I'm not sure anyone could actually get a
So it's not
really sharp,
serving,
is it?
it's not serving the purpose when it's like that. So you might as well get rid of it. If it's not going to get emptied, you might as well just get rid of it.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
But like I think Kirklees is supposed to have it emptied, and it's their responsibility. And if it's going to be there, they should use it. Or if you're not going to use it properly, get rid of it. So,
I agree.
yeah.
Can we consider it a health hazard in its current form?
Yes, I think so.
That's all. Let's just not taking that. Shall we talk about that? Get back on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I believe that the project that it was part of, that the whole initiative of having, you know, safe disposal of sharps is no longer sort of running.
Mm.
That's
It's been forgotten.
yeah, well, that's what my pharmacist husband tells me, that it just doesn't happen anymore, anywhere really.
Budget cuts.
Well, in which case, if that is the case, then we definitely want rid of it. We want either a functioning sharps bin or the thing taken away.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Item 33, we're looking at our committee budget. We've had an update on that, which is item C. So we have both the budget, the figures up till, actually up till September, yeah. So we've got figures on the budget, and we have figures on the earmark reserves as of the end of August. There are a couple of things perhaps to pick up on this. I'll throw it open if anyone has read it and has comments to make.
Can I make some comments?
Yeah, please.
Which might spur further discussion. So I think the spend from each of the budget lines is what you would perhaps expect it to be at this time in the year. Apart, of course, from the lettable space 4325, which is standing at 162.25% being spent. And of course, that's because we've had the estate agents' fees, we've had the legal fees for drawing up the lease, and what we will do regarding that is address it by taking funding from the earmark reserve. So that will go as a recommendation to full council, if you like. Rich is completely on top of that. The other EMRs, I do think at the next meeting, if you don't have a discussion about how some of these are going to be used or if there isn't a plan for some of these emerging tonight, that is something that you will need to focus on at the next meeting, because Rich might suggest that we should resist rolling them on into 2025-26. So it's, how you're going to plan to spend those EMRs.
Chair, it's been discussed among councillors that earmarked reserves do not get rolled over unless they are real earmarks with the work has been delayed for some reason, or it was, we're going to give this much every year to the civic or whatever it is. And that instead of saying, well, keep it in earmark, each committee is now required, or will be, there's a working group recommending this, to put that expenditure into their budget, not an earmark, so it becomes a budgeted sum for next year from a committee, not a rolled over earmark.
Thank you for that. Can I just ask about the budget item, the budget line 4760, which is the youth work? So we've got a fair bit remaining in there at the moment, but I think that we're expecting, well, we know that the KYA are actually requesting
Yes.
some payments, so we're expecting that to go quite soon.
Yes, so this will come up in the item on youth work in Home Valley later in the agenda. But basically, if you remember, and if you refer to the minutes of the last meeting, you approved expenditure of the entire 25,000, and that was to go to full council. The last service provision meeting was 8th of July. In other words, it's not yet gone to full council. And an issue arose with Kirklees Youth Alliance really needing payment of at least 5,000 earlier this summer. So I corresponded by email with the chair and vice chair, and also chair and vice chair of council regarding this, and that payment of £5,000 was made, and the agreement is that at each service, well, let me get this right, I'm going to read my notes that come in later. Or are you happy if it comes up later?
Yeah,
Because that's where I put it in my notes.
Yeah.
So, but it is, so that money is scheduled in terms of how it's going to go to KYA.
And you're saying some of it's already spent in fact?
Some of it's already gone, yes.
Thank you. And also, I think going back to the point you were just raising about the fact that we're overdrawn effectively in the budget line for the lettable space, the Gartside unit, basically.
Yes.
And suggesting that that might well then be made up from the EMR for the Gartside unit. And I think we might come back to that as well, aren't we?
Yeah.
Looking at the overall
Yeah.
sort of budget for that unit, the income and the expenditure and expected expenditure. So we'll come
Yes.
back to that.
Yeah.
As well. Anything else anyone would like to raise about the budget details? No? Right, thank you. Moving on from that. Well, do we have to agree it?
I think you need to note it, unless there's any further actions you want.
Okay, so noted.
Yeah.
Item 34, two grant applications, both in relation to Christmas provision. These are effectively repeats, I have to say, in recent past years. One from Bonding Business Association for 1,250, one from the Christmas team for £1,000. Anything you wanted to add to it?
Yeah, just to say, with the Honey one, we had a little bit of trouble getting hold of accounts to do with people changing their email addresses, I think. But we have received them this week. They have been looked at, and the paperwork is in order. The application is on an old form, and Honley Business Association have been asked that the new form is used next time. I'm aware that they were asked that over the CCTV one that you heard back in February as well. This time, I will you know, I think as a committee you should insist on it.
Well, and I thought that both of these were going to be the new type of simplified application. The
The
way,
rolling grants.
sorry?
Do you mean the rolling grants?
Yeah,
It's rolling grants.
Yeah.
You discussed that when you looked at the grants last time and decided not to, partly because Honley had asked for the first time for 1,250 rather than 1,000, which it had done traditionally, and also because there were different things in the Honley application last time on previous occasions. So you drew back from that when you looked at those last time.
Because, sorry, can I just follow up on that? That the idea of the rolling grants was that it could be slightly different year on year, that it wouldn't necessarily be exactly the same. One year they need to replace lights, another year it would be Santa's reindeer's hooves or whatever.
I think it was because, if my memory serves me correct, it was because the Honley one was focusing on the Christmas markets day that it has on the church.
It was about the event, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ah, right.
So it was quite a bit different to what it normally
Yeah.
was.
It wasn't the usual one. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you, Mary.
This is not an old form, but a very old form, and a consequence of that is that there's no mention of the climate emergency, there's no statement whatsoever about the climate emergency. So I think I'd like to be hardline on this and just say, okay, we can agree to the grant, but only pay after they've actually returned a climate emergency statement, and using the form of words which is in the new form, the existing form. If we're going to be serious about the climate emergency, then I think we should, and we have got a statement that we're requiring everybody with grants to have regard to climate emergency.
Yeah, I think they should do it on the proper form.
I think it must be in the Home Firth one, there is reference to some things such as low energy
Yes,
light
it's a
bulbs
good,
and things like that.
I mean, it shows it can be done for this kind of project,
Yeah.
so I think we should get a bit hard line about it.
Can I suggest then that the proposal is amended to say that it's subject to resubmitting on the correct form and this to be verified by the chair and vice chair?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I just ask as well, would we normally show the sort code and account number?
Have I not taken the
No, I don't think.
I apologise. I should have redacted those.
Okay. Well, all happy with, sorry Tom.
Yeah, I'm happy with giving grants to Honley and Home Firth. Only thing is, Honley getting 25% more than Home Firth,
Home Firth get a tree.
so Honley don't get a tree.
Correct.
Alright, yeah, propose it, let's do it. So the proposal is subject to what Mary suggested, that they return a completed new form, and yeah, that's my proposal.
I think they approach it in slightly different ways really, to the celebration and how they use them.
Yeah.
But I mean, Honley Business Association know how to do it. I mean, we've had several grant applications, all sorts of things that they're if not the actual applicants, the parents of, so they know what's.
It's really good as well, what they do, it's really good. Every year.
Okay.
Have you taken a vote on it? Do you need to vote on
All in favour of approving each, well, do you want to take them separately?
Yeah.
Or?
Yes.
So the first one is the Honley Business Association, all in favour of approving? Obviously subject to. Yeah, subject to. Is that okay? And the second one is the Home Firth, in favour? Carried, thank you. Moving on to Honley Library, again, as always from Honley Library, a nice detailed report that's come out to everyone. This will also link in, oh no, it's part of the same thing related to the Kirklees proposals and so on. You've seen, hopefully everyone's had a chance to read the report and also the outcome of the review by Kirklees. Anyone want to raise any points about it, any queries?
Can I just report
Yeah,
a
sorry.
little bit further? So yes, just to stress that one of the things that have happened since the last service provision meeting is the council's provided supporting letters in August regarding permissions, insurance cover and confirming annual funding at the request of Friends of Honley Library. And I have to say, in turn, the council's appreciated the support for the COVID Memorial Garden from Honley as well. So that, you know, we have a very good relationship.
And certainly welcome news about the council's
Yeah.
final decision, Kirklees Council's decision on that.
Yeah, so we're awaiting further information on that. It may mean some staff hours are cut, but it's been very pleasing to see that the plans have been revised. And thank you to everyone who came to some of the different meetings and all of that, because I think it's clearly made a difference.
Yes, I think it, and I was a bit scared. They appeared to be listening, and they appeared to think, oh yeah, that's a good point. And you thought, yeah, they'll take it back, and it'll trickle down the drain, and it didn't.
Without wishing to be too cynical, there are still huge savings that need to be made at Kirklees,
Yes.
so we need to keep our eye on this ball, I think. Sorry, Tom.
Yeah, but I think it's good that we've been listening to. There's a couple of consultations. There's the library and the parking in the New York Honley car parks and the car parks, which they actually have been consultations. It's been a done deal. They've gone out there, spoken to us, listened to us, and then made wise decisions, I think, in both instances. I was just going to say about on the library, just looking at the report here now, 48,000 that they've raised already in fundraising for the extension. Like, it's about a year they've raised that much money.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. They are such a good group. Like they all are. The way they're organised, everything they do. And it's amazing. I can't believe they've raised so much so fast. It's really good.
And mind you, as June McLean, Honley Business Association said, the first 50,000 is the easy 50,000, you know. The second 50,000 is more.
And in the current climate and with the way that grant funding
It
is
is
being
astonishing what they've achieved.
cut and so on, it's amazing. Mary?
Yeah, just on the Covey Memorial Garden, we've practically run out, we've been overrun out really, of £6,000 that's allocated